Hello and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to talk about all kinds of camera anomalies that get blamed as a sun simulator. Well, I've got two cameras going here. I got my new little Action Pro action camera, which just shut off on me. I've got a lens that was designed for a welding mask. This is a protective lens. And then I've got a perfectly clear one that I haven't taken the film off yet. So we're going to see the differences. And this also ties in with the FAA cameras or any web cameras that are out there, in that they have a clear plastic lens in front of them to a protective encasement that protects the camera electronics. I peeled one side, I got one more side to protect the camera from the weather. So those clear lenses show a lot of anomalies. Oh, figures. Sorry. Alright, so we're doing the same thing on both cameras, and you can see all the lens effects that happen with nothing in front of the lens. Now when you add in the clear lens, and this is a perfectly moving the camera around and the lens up and down, and as you saw, I just pulled. This is the brand. Just should be pretty clean. No scratch free and everything. Besides some impurities, of course. It's plastic. We get all kinds of things. If you don't understand this, look up. All I have to do is Google search, why do lens flares look different? And you'll get a lot of the reasons. And let's get it on the other camera. Alright, now we have the other one. It's slightly scratched up. It's slightly scratched up, and this is going to be more representative of what your camera has going on in front of it. That protective clear plastic lens in front of every web camera that's designed for outdoors. Every camera. And they just add in all kinds of things. Now, let's simulate a little bit more wear and tear. And add in water droplets. Okay. Simulate. And you can see we got some water droplets on it. Let's see what else shows up. Yeah. Things out of focus and what they do with a camera on a clear plastic lens. Now let's move the camera and not the lens. Notice we have the double sun there. See right there, 1, 2. Okay. Let me get the other camera going here. Let me get the dry side to it. Sorry. The LTI added. So I don't really need to simulate it much on this camera. It's got a curved lens, so it doesn't, but you get the idea here. A lot of these camera anomalies the people are saying is something on FAA webcams or other webcams, and that's great, they're looking, but you gotta understand something though. There are so many things to go on with this that you need to learn about and need to be ruled out in your pictures. You know, to say, is that something in our sky that camera recorded? But it's not just about the lens though. You also have digital compression that's shrinking that file size. That affects your image. You know, the website people running that website on that webcam, and they got to make that packet size as small as possible. So I'm just moving this lens up and down a little bit and shake a little water off, make these droplets smaller. Turn that off. So without the lens, with the clear plastic enclosure of every outdoor camera has, well, I've lost my light. But I think it's a good representation of orbs and what people call planets, and just because they move, and well, lots of things are moving. But you've got to rule out things like this. And that's on every webcam. Whether it's clear or slightly tinted, it's always there. So that's another reason why I stay away from visual spectrum, because there's so much that needs to be ruled out, and just stick with magnet spectrum. Alright. Okay, so I did a little side-by-side comparison. This is just my iPhone 7, and this is my Acaso V50 Pro 4K, you know, inexpensive action camera that still does 4K and stabilization. It's not that important anyways. Now, what I meant by enclosures on cameras. Now, your FAA cameras are just like this. They're the same setup as a security camera. Web cameras, they're this, no, they may have something more like this. It just depends. These are security cameras, but I've seen a picture of an actual FAA cam. I couldn't find the screenshot of the Logic video where he actually found the camera in one of his videos to go over the same information I'm going over. Now you can see pretty clear here the protective lens, clear lens in front of the camera lens itself. The camera's inside the enclosure. This enclosure protects it from the weather. These lenses here, they get dirty, rained on, snowed on, wind blown, dirt into them, and that's why you end up with horrible. See what else shows up. Horrible images, like stuff like this on FAA cams or webcams. You got to also remember that these cameras every camera out there is not designed to look at bright light sources. Now, I had mentioned earlier of what to look up if you're curious about this. Why are lens flares all different? And you can look all this over. And I did this earlier with Google, and I was prepared for that with those search results. Come on, Google. There you go. Now, where's the one that I actually looked at? Well, it gave me different results this time, but I was on my phone. Photography lights. This is a good one. Ways to avoid them. Where was lens for man? How to get rid of lens flares? one of the main things people in my previous videos was bringing up hexagon shapes. And unfortunately, this result didn't bring up the hexagon shapes. Um, Vignetting. But what hexagon shapes are, I think this, well, this may show it.
This is our
I'm not going to deal with YouTube. Come on. Great. Okay, but the hexagon shapes now, if you do a quick search for Buka, you will, let's go to images. Buka is a type of photography using images that are like you have an image in the foreground and then an image in the background. Buka, the hexagon shaped, basically Buka, like I said, is something where a part of the picture is out of focus. Okay. Aesthetic quality of a blur produced of out of focus parts of an image. It's also been defined as the way the lens renders out of focus points of light. And how they end up with and you noticed in the images, they had different shapes. I don't know how they were getting the heart-shaped ones in here. I didn't look into it. But the hexagon-shaped ones was the shape of the shutters or aperture. Unfortunately, I did end up with the same results, but that's okay. Basically, like your image, your forefront of your image is in focus, and then the back is out of focus. And then when you have a light source in there, and then like here, depending on your, well, here you go, Buka shapes. So depending on your lenses or camera hardware, it depends. So depends the shape, I guess. But anyways, I may not understand it fully, but I understand enough to know when I look at a picture what is going on in the sense of what's legit and what's not. So here's your hexagonal shape in a picture and why it's out of focus, and that just spells another one of those sun simulator reasons or pieces of evidence, when really you just need to and I found Buka just looking up the lens flare things. Why are all lens flares different? I mean, it explains why they're different. Actually, the Google. Oh, it didn't give me the same thing. Basically, the effective lens flares can vary depending on the location of the light source in the frame. If the light source is very strong, such as the sun, its light rays can reach the front of the lens and cause the lens flare, even if the light source itself is not included in the image. So, in the earlier, it gave that diagram of, see here you go, hexagonal. It gave the diagram of the camera, here you go, camera lens, and how the light is passing through the lenses and causing these aberrations. Related images, possibly. So, again, if you want to understand, when you're looking at a visual picture, what you're seeing, at least understand the way you can start ruling out possible camera situations. And there's a good rule of thumb is if you didn't see it with your eyes and only saw it with the camera, it probably came from the camera. Your eyes are way better than any camera available to the consumer. So let's go back to all. According to scientist and photographer Dr. Roger Clark, the resolution of the human eye is 576 megapixels. Now you could go through and you can see different numbers for that. But anyways, that camera I just bought, it's a 20 megapixel camera. I know there's higher megapixels, maybe, I don't know the top numbers now, but your eye in detail is still way better than the camera. The camera just enhances in a sense, what your eyes can do, like binoculars, really. But anyways, so if you probably didn't see the detail with your eyes, it's probably from the camera. All right, I guess let's just review. If you're new to my channel, you should go, of course, watch my videos, but you should really start at Angry Catfish Briggs, and he will basically go in all these videos that he has. He will answer every question you've ever had about most things pertaining to many subjects. He covers far more than I do, but you go to his videos, sort by oldest, and start from here. Ever wonder why the moon doesn't look right? So starting here and going through, yes, it's a lot of videos, but it's going to provide you the information you will need to understand what is going on, not necessarily only with Earth, but your government's distraction stories, prophecies, you name it. Understanding the Five Eyes troll situation. All right. Also, you need to check out scientifically his playlists, magnetic fields in motion, and the motion of everything in field defined. To also start understanding electromagnetics in the ferrocell, and since the universe is governed by electromagnetics or the flow of energy, you should really understand. Going over these playlists, you'll start to understand how the universe works. And that's also just another part of the foundation that I'm showing people and sharing. So, Iswa, let's check anything going on there. There's always something going on, especially right about now. I'm going to fast forward. Just some small pings that I've been calling them. Earth is pushing closed field lines against other magnets. These are small compared to lately. Especially later on in the evening, you're going to see some very explosive pushes that are coming from Earth. I'm trying to give you a few. Nope. And I'm just dropping back 6 hours by doing this. Pushing the cursor left, dropping down, hitting apply. It's going to drop me back 6 hours because I have 100 frames set. Gives me a 6 hour block. Let's see, there's the tail end of a big push. Apply again. I'll get another 6 hours back, ending where I just started. Alright, so what we have here is a very large electromagnetic push from Earth. And these only happen in the magnet world when there's another magnet around of the same polarity. Red closed field lines. These are something that I'm looking into and understanding. There's been some other examples lately. They're quite interesting. But these are coming from Earth. They're not coming from the sun or Birkeland currents, current sheaths, however you want to call them, because we aren't seeing any frontside activity outside in front of the bow shock coming from the sun. It's pretty quiet there. We don't see some slight discoloration, but so these are coming directly from Earth. All right, that's a quick little magnetic update. You all enjoy the rest of your weekend, and talk to y'all later on the next one.